The story opens in a quiet, upscale private jet terminal. Everything around speaks of quiet wealth. Smooth marble floors, warm lights hanging from above, the low hum of jet engines somewhere outside. People in sharp suits walk by without rushing. A woman adjusts her designer bag. An older man checks his watch, looking important. The space doesn't shout luxury, it just is. It's the kind of place where people don't need to prove they belong until someone new walks in. Sophia steps through the glass doors with calm purpose. She doesn't need to say a word to get noticed. She's not wearing flashy clothes or dripping in gold, just a navy blazer over wide-legged trousers, simple heels, a neat leather bag, and a tablet in her hand. Her natural curls frame her face. Her walk is steady. Her eyes don't dart around. They take in everything. She's used to being in control. Everything about her says she's worked hard and earned her place here. This trip to Geneva isn't just a vacation or a casual stop. It's the next step in something she's spent years building. Her company, one that started in her small apartment, has grown. Now there's a chance to take it to Europe. The people waiting for her over there aren't just clients. They're potential partners. And this meeting could change everything. She's ready. Every detail is in place. At the check-in desk, a young woman named Claire greets her with a smile. She's friendly and professional. "Good morning, ma'am. May I help you?" Sophia responds with calm kindness. "Yes, I'm here for the Langston flight to Geneva." Claire checks her screen, confirms everything is in order, and offers a polite nod. But there's the smallest pause, a split second where her eyes widen before she returns to her smile. It's subtle, maybe even innocent, but Sophia notices. She always does. As Sophia steps aside, waiting for boarding, she looks around the terminal. She sees the difference between how others move and how she is sometimes seen. They walk like they've always belonged here. Her presence, though, still turns heads. Not because she's loud, but because she stands out, for reasons that shouldn't matter, but still do. A few minutes pass. Then, from across the terminal, a man in a pilot's uniform approaches. His walk is confident, his shoulders stiff. He looks like he takes his job seriously. But something in his face, something subtle, sets off an alarm in Sophia's gut. His eyes scan the room, land on her, and narrow just slightly. Not in confusion, not in greeting, but in doubt. He stops in front of her. This is the pilot, Captain Todd Benson. He doesn't smile. Not really. There's a quick glance at her hand when she offers it, and then a short, almost forced handshake. His words are polite, but there's no warmth in them. "Miss Langston, I take it?" It sounds more like a challenge than a welcome. Sophia replies with a calm voice and steady eyes. "That's right." The air between them isn't tense yet, but it's heavy. Todd says the jet is being prepped. But something in his tone, the way he looks at her, the way his jaw tightens, it tells her this flight may not be as smooth as expected. She doesn't react. Not yet. But inside, she knows. She's been here before. Not this terminal. Not this flight. But this moment. The kind where she has to prove again that she belongs in a space already earned. This is where it begins. Sophia stands near the check-in counter, quietly waiting. Her jet is almost ready. She doesn't fidget or check her phone like others around her. She knows how to wait. Her eyes wander across the glass windows, watching another jet taxi in slowly. Then she hears footsteps. A man in a pilot's uniform is walking toward her. He moves with the kind of confidence that makes it clear he's used to being in charge. His name tag reads, Captain Todd Benson. He stops in front of her and offers a brief handshake. Not rude, just distant. His voice is polite but stiff, like someone doing their job without really wanting to. "Miss Langston?" he asks, as if still trying to figure out if she's in the right place. She nods. Yes, that's me. He nods slowly, his eyes scanning her face, her clothes, then her bag. All right, he says. Just doing final checks. The words are normal, but the way he says them makes them feel heavy. Not warm, not respectful, just going through the motions. There's a pause. Then he speaks again, casually. But something about the question feels off. So, are you flying solo today? Or waiting for the actual jet owner? Sophia blinks. She doesn't let it show in her face, but the message is clear. He doesn't believe she owns the plane. She answers without a hint of emotion. I am the owner. There's no one else coming. Todd raises his eyebrows slightly like he didn't expect that. Oh, I see. That's rare. We don't often see, well, he doesn't finish the sentence. But the space he leaves is louder than anything he could have said. Sophia keeps her voice calm. You don't often see what? Todd gives a little laugh, the kind that's meant to play off discomfort. Just saying most owners are, a certain kind of background. She doesn't smile, doesn't frown either. She just meets his eyes and lets the silence sit for a second longer than it should. Interesting, she says. What kind of background would that be exactly? Todd shrugs, not answering. He pretends to check something on his clipboard. No offense meant, he adds quickly. Just not what I expected. From a few feet away, Claire, the young woman from the check-in counter, watches. She's organizing papers but keeps glancing over. She notices the awkwardness. She heard the tone. And though she wouldn't say anything out loud, something about the exchange doesn't feel right. She shifts on her feet, unsure if she should say something, but she stays quiet. Sophia stands still, her arms now gently folded. Captain Benson? She says. Is there anything else you need to know about me, or is the flight ready? Her tone hasn't changed. It's still calm, but there's no doubt in her voice. No hesitation. She's used to moments like this. Too used to them. Todd stammers a bit, caught off guard. No, everything's good. We're almost ready for takeoff. Then he walks away. Sophia watches him go, then takes a slow breath. She doesn't let out frustration. She doesn't roll her eyes or show anger. But inside, she feels that small, familiar sting. It's not new. She's faced this same kind of disbelief before. In meetings, hotels, conferences, even her own office sometimes. People expecting someone else. Someone older, whiter, male. She doesn't crumble under it. She never has. But it still weighs on her. Every time she has to explain herself, it chips away a little. Not her confidence, never that, but her patience. She just wants a day where she can walk into a room, state her name, and be believed. No looks, no loaded questions, no pauses. Claire brings her a cup of water, and Sophia thanks her with a small nod. The young woman offers a quick smile but says nothing. Sophia can tell she's unsure whether to speak up. And maybe it's not her place. Maybe she's seen too many people stay silent in situations like this. As Sophia sips the water, her mind stays sharp. She doesn't dwell, but she doesn't forget either. She reminds herself of what she's built, of what this flight means, of the people waiting for her across the ocean. That is what matters. Not the opinions of a man too blinded by his own bias to see who's standing in front of him. The sky outside is starting to brighten, the clouds thin and stretched out like soft cotton. Somewhere out there is her future. She plans to reach it, with or without the approval of Captain Benson. Sophia sits in the quiet lounge, her tablet open in front of her, but her eyes aren't on the screen. She's pretending to review slides, numbers, and notes, but her attention keeps drifting back to the window and the hallway beyond. She can feel it, something lingering in the air. That strange discomfort that shows up when someone has made up their mind about you before you've even said a word. And not in your favor. Todd walks by once more. He's holding a checklist, moving toward the gate. His steps are slow, deliberate, almost like he wants to be noticed. As he passes, he glances at Sophia. Not quickly, not respectfully. His eyes move from her face down to her shoes, then back up again. Not in a flirtatious way, and not in an openly hostile one either. But there's something in his look, a mix of judgment and surprise. The kind that makes someone feel like they're on display, not for admiration, but for inspection. He doesn't say anything the first time. But when he circles back again, now with a co-pilot trailing behind, he lets out a small laugh under his breath. Didn't know billionaires traveled this light, he says casually, eyes on Sophia's single carry-on bag. His tone tries to sound friendly like it's a joke, but the edge is there. It's not a real question. It's a dig. Sophia looks up. I like to pack light, she says simply. Her voice is even, her expression unreadable. She doesn't give him what he's looking for. No smile, no play along. Todd shrugs, leaning on the side of a nearby counter. Guess that's one way to do it. Most jet owners I fly for, well, they usually roll in with staff, assistants, wardrobe cases, that kind of thing. His words seem harmless on the surface, but there's a pattern forming. It's not about her luggage. It's about whether she fits the mold he's used to, whether she looks like someone who should own a jet. Sophia closes her tablet gently. She looks up at him, not angry, but focused. Every owner runs their business differently, she replies. I prefer handling things myself. She doesn't raise her voice. She doesn't frown. She doesn't need to. Her calmness speaks louder than anything else. Todd gives a small, tight smile and walks off, again. But Sophia knows exactly what's happening here. These aren't just small comments. They're little tests, little pokes, each one trying to see if she'll flinch, if she'll lose her cool, or if she'll crack just enough to make him feel right. She leans back in her seat and lets out a slow breath. Inside her mind, thoughts are turning fast. She's been here before. Maybe not in this exact lounge, not with this exact pilot. But the feeling? It's all too familiar. Men like Todd come in all shapes. Some say things out loud. Others hide. It behind smiles and fake jokes. But it always comes from the same place. A belief that she doesn't belong. She remembers walking into her first investor meeting years ago, when no one would make eye contact with her until she started speaking numbers. She remembers a hotel valet asking which boss she was waiting for. She remembers a real estate agent trying to talk her into smaller office space because it might be a better fit. Every one of those moments taught her how to read people before they even spoke. Todd is no different. He just thinks he's being clever. Sophia picks up her phone and calls Leonard. He answers on the second ring. Hey, you boarding yet? He asks cheerfully. Not yet, she says. Everything's on schedule, but I think there's a situation starting to bubble. Her voice is calm, but there's a shift in it. A weight Leonard picks up on immediately. What kind of situation? He asks, voice steady now. She doesn't go into full detail. Let's just say the pilot has opinions. He's not saying them straight, but I've seen the signs before. There's a pause on the line. Leonard sighs. Want me to call someone at Elite? Not yet, she says. I want to see how he handles himself, but keep your phone close. I might need you. You got it, he says without hesitation. They hang up, and she puts her phone face down on the table. Outside, the sun is higher now, casting a sharp glare across the tarmac. The jet gleams under the light, clean and ready. Her name is on the paperwork. Her money bought every seat, every screw, every drop of fuel. And still, she has to prove she's not just a passenger. A movement in the corner of her eye catches her attention. Todd is near the crew door, talking to another flight staff member. His arms are crossed, his jaw tight. He keeps glancing toward the lounge. Whatever he's saying, it's clear he's not happy. The other person just nods, looking unsure. Sophia doesn't react. She watches him like a storm cloud that hasn't broken open yet. But will. She's not scared. She's not even angry. She's just waiting, because she knows this isn't over. Not yet. Sophia watches as Todd returns to the lounge. His movements are quick, sharp, like he's annoyed but trying to hide it. He walks past her seat, stops a few steps away, then turns back. His jaw is tight, and there's a forced calm in his voice. "Miss Langston," he says, "I've gone over the flight checklist again. Just wanted to confirm everything is still in order." Sophia doesn't look up right away. She finishes what she's typing, then slowly raises her eyes. "Good to hear," she replies. Her voice is polite but clipped. "Though I assumed that was your job from the start." Todd pauses, and for a moment it seems like he might walk away. But instead, he stands there trying to play it cool. "Of course it is," he says with a smile that doesn't reach his eyes. "Just want to make sure we're all on the same page." Sophia leans back in her chair. "Let me be clear, Captain," she says. "I expect the same level of professionalism any other jet owner would receive. Nothing more, nothing less. If there's an issue, say it plainly. If not, I suggest we keep things respectful." Todd's smile fades just a little. "I think you're reading into things too much," he says. "Nobody's treating you unfairly. I'm just doing my job." There it is, that classic move. Make her feel like she's imagining it. Make her feel like she's being too sensitive, like she's the problem. Sophia doesn't blink. "I've had this conversation before," she says. "More times than I can count. So if I seem clear about what's happening, it's because I've learned to spot it the first time it shows up." Todd stiffens. "With all due respect." Sophia stops him with a look. Not loud, not angry, just firm. She doesn't need to shout. Her silence makes more noise than anything he could say. A few steps away, Claire watches it all unfold. She pretends to be wiping down a counter, but her eyes keep drifting toward them. She hears every word. She sees the shift in Todd's face, the way he doesn't like being challenged, the way he tries to hide it. Claire feels something in her chest, not fear, more like discomfort, like she's standing between two worlds, one she works in and one she knows she can't ignore anymore. Once Todd walks off, Sophia turns her focus back to her tablet. But her thoughts are still heavy. She's not rattled, but she's tired. Tired of having to say the same things. Tired of holding people accountable just to get the basic respect anyone else would be given without question. A few minutes later, Claire quietly approaches her with a tray. On it, a fresh cup of coffee, a napkin, and a small spoon. "Thought you might like this," Claire says gently. Her voice is softer than earlier, less formal. Sophia looks up, surprised but grateful. "Thank you, Claire." Claire lingers just for a second. "If I can be honest, I saw what happened. You handled it really well." Sophia gives her a small smile. "Sometimes the best way to answer noise is with stillness." Claire nods, clearly thinking about something. Sophia adds, "Don't ever doubt what you see. If something feels off, it probably is. Trust yourself." Those few words sit with Claire. It's not a speech. It's not dramatic. But it means something, and Claire feels it. After Claire walks away, Sophia picks up her phone and opens her email. She doesn't waste time. She starts, typing directly to the CEO of Elite Aviation. The subject line is simple. Formal complaint, flight crew behavior. Her tone is calm, not emotional, but direct. She includes dates, times, words exchanged. She sticks to the facts. She doesn't name call or exaggerate. She doesn't have to. The truth is strong enough. As she hits send, Sophia feels a sense of control settle in. It's not revenge, it's accountability. It's making sure the next time someone like Todd steps out of line, they know someone is watching, and Someone is willing to speak up, but across the lounge, Todd is still pacing. He leans over to one of the younger crew members and speaks in a low voice. Claire watches from a distance as his tone shifts from professional to irritated. "She thinks she can just walk in here and tell me how to do my job," he says, not loudly, but loud enough for the young man next to him to grow uncomfortable. "I'm not letting this go, not without saying something." The younger man frowns. "Maybe you should just let it go," he offers, but Todd ignores him. Claire hears the words and her stomach turns. Something about the way Todd said them, flat, bitter, almost angry, makes her uneasy. She doesn't know exactly what he plans to do next, but it's clear this isn't over for him. Back in her seat, Sophia lifts her coffee, takes a slow sip, and stares straight ahead. She's calm on the outside. Inside, she's preparing. She knows the next move is coming, and she's ready for it. The lounge has grown quieter now. Most of the other passengers are either tucked into corners with their phones or sipping drinks while scrolling through emails. The polished floors gleam under soft lights, and the hum of the tarmac outside fades into background noise. But inside Sophia, the tension is anything but quiet. She senses it building, the way you can smell the air before a storm. Todd returns, this time not pretending to be calm. His steps are quicker, chest slightly puffed, eyes locked on her like he's made a decision. He stops right in front of her chair, not bothering to lower his voice. "Miss Langston," he says with sharpness in every syllable, "I've reviewed everything again. Your name, your file, your clearance, and frankly, I'm still not convinced this is all in order." Sophia slowly sets down her tablet and looks up. She doesn't stand. She doesn't raise her voice, but her tone cuts clean. "Captain Benson, what exactly do you think isn't in order? My name? My business? The fact that I'm sitting in this lounge instead of someone you expected?" People nearby start to glance over. A man at the corner bar lowers his drink. Claire freezes behind the service counter, hands resting on a tray, eyes wide. The room hasn't gone silent yet, but it's on the edge. Todd shifts, pretending to straighten his sleeves. "I've flown for over a decade. I know the kind of people who own jets like this. And forgive me, but nothing about this feels normal." Sophia blinks once, then stands. Her voice remains low and controlled, but every word lands hard. "You're absolutely right, Captain. Nothing about this is normal. You questioning a paying client, twice. You implying I don't belong here. You needing to be convinced of something that is already confirmed in writing. That's not normal. That's personal." Todd opens his mouth, but she doesn't give him the chance. "I've worked for years to be where I am. I own that jet. Not through luck, not through favors, through work. The kind of work that most people never see. The kind of work that built a company, paid your salary today, and got me invited to Geneva by people who trust my leadership. So let's stop pretending this is about paperwork." Now the room is still. Sophia continues, her voice steady, almost too calm. "This is about the fact that I don't fit the picture in your head of who should own a plane. Maybe it's the color of my skin. Maybe it's my gender. Maybe it's because I walked in here alone and didn't come with a team of assistants. Whatever it is, it has nothing to do with rules and everything to do with you." Todd's face flushes. "That's not what I meant," he says quickly. "Don't twist my words." Sophia takes a step closer. "No one's twisting anything. You've made it clear. You just didn't expect me. And instead of adjusting your thinking, you decided to challenge mine." For a beat, he stares at her, mouth open, but no words come out. And then something in him snaps. "You know what? Maybe I don't believe everything should be handed out just because someone plays the race card every time they feel uncomfortable." There it is. Not hidden this time. Not polite, not professional. Just raw and real and wrong. The room goes completely still. A woman at the other end of the lounge looks up from her laptop. Even the soft music from the speakers seems to quiet. Claire's. Face goes pale. Sophia doesn't blink. "You should be very careful with what you just said," she says, "because you've just confirmed what I already knew." Todd scoffs, trying to hold on to whatever authority he thinks he has. "This is ridiculous. You're making a scene." Sophia leans in slightly. Her tone doesn't rise. It gets quieter, more dangerous. "Captain Benson, you are one step away from being grounded forever. And you don't even see it. You've let your bias drag you into a public argument with the owner of the aircraft you're supposed to fly, in front of passengers, in front of staff. If you think this ends with me walking away quietly, you're very wrong." A staff member near the gate starts walking toward them, clearly unsure whether to interrupt or not. Todd is breathing heavier now. He looks around and sees the faces watching him. The control he thought he had is slipping, fast. He mutters something, under his breath, something no one catches clearly, and storms out of the lounge toward the gate, shoulders stiff and fists tight. Sophia doesn't follow him with her eyes. She just exhales slowly and sits back down, as if the weight she's been carrying has shifted. Not gone, but seen. Her phone buzzes in her lap. It's Leonard. Text message. "Leonard. Need backup?" Sophia reads the message. She doesn't answer right away. She just looks out the window, where her jet waits, steady, polished, and silent. She's not done yet. But now, everyone in that room knows exactly who they're dealing with. Sophia sits back in her chair, arms resting gently on her lap. The tension in the room hasn't fully cleared, but it's settled enough for her to breathe. Her phone buzzes softly on the table beside her. She glances down at the screen and sees a new email. The subject line is short and to the point. "We've received your report." She opens it. It's from Michael Connors, the CEO of Elite Aviation. The tone is professional and serious. He thanks her for reporting the incident, says they're reviewing the matter immediately, says Captain Benson's actions will be investigated, promises accountability. Sophia reads every word carefully. She's heard promises before. What matters is what comes next. Still, it's a step in the right direction. And she made it happen. Not far away, inside the cockpit, Todd is pacing in the tight space between the seats. He's not supposed to be pacing. He's supposed to be checking controls and preparing for takeoff. But his mind is elsewhere. He's angry. Not loud, not shouting, but stewing. His face is flushed, and his jaw is clenched tight. He mutters, under his breath as he flips through a flight log he's already looked at 3 times. The young co-pilot, maybe in his late 20s, watches him quietly. "Everything all right, Captain?" he asks, keeping his tone light. Todd doesn't answer right away. Then, without looking up, he says, "You really think that woman owns this jet?" The co-pilot blinks. "She said she does. The paperwork says she does. So, yeah, I believe her." Todd shakes his head. "People forge things all the time. Anyone can say they own something. Doesn't make it true." The co-pilot stays quiet for a moment. Then he says carefully, "Leonard Hayes is backing her. You know who he is, right? His name is all over this company's VIP list." Todd waves him off. "I don't care who she knows. I've been doing this job for 15 years. I've flown everyone from oil execs to movie stars. I know what real owners look like. She's not it." The co-pilot leans back slightly in his seat, staring ahead at the windshield. "Maybe she's exactly it," he says quietly. "Maybe the problem isn't her." Todd turns, his voice sharper now. "People like her don't just wake up and buy jets. She probably married into money, or someone's handing her a free ride." That line hangs in the air like a bad smell. The co-pilot doesn't answer. He looks down at his screen and starts double-checking coordinates. But inside, something shifts. He's heard people like Todd talk this way before, behind closed doors, never in public. But saying it out loud during a flight, about a client, it crosses a line. A few moments later, a message comes through the cockpit's comms panel. A red light flashes once, then blinks steady. It's from Elite Aviation's main office. Todd presses a button and listens. The voice that comes through is firm and direct. Captain Benson, this is Michael Connors, CEO. We've received a formal report regarding your conduct this morning. Todd stiffens. Sir, The voice cuts him off. There will be a full review upon landing. Until then, you are expected to conduct yourself with absolute professionalism. No more contact with the client unless required. You'll report to our Geneva office after arrival. Do you understand? Todd swallows hard. Yes, sir, he says. The line clicks off. He stands frozen for a second, staring at the panel like it might change if he waits long enough. But it doesn't. He turns slowly, sits down in the pilot seat, and rests his hands on the controls. They tremble slightly. His co-pilot doesn't say a word, but Todd feels the silence. He feels everything he thought he controlled slipping away. Not just the flight, not just the conversation, but his job, his reputation, maybe more. In the lounge, Sophia sets her phone down. She doesn't know what was just said in the cockpit, but she can feel it in the air. Something's changed. She knows power when it shifts, and this time it's moving back where it belongs. The gate attendant returns with a nod and a polite smile. Your jet is ready, Miss Langston. I can walk you over now. Sophia stands slowly, smoothing out her blazer. Her bag is already in her hand, light but purposeful, just like her. She doesn't rush. Each step toward the stairs feels quiet but strong. Todd is already standing at the base of the jet, arms crossed, pretending to look busy. His eyes avoid hers. His body is stiff, but his face gives away more than he wants it. This moment doesn't belong to him anymore. Sophia walks past him without a word. Not coldly, just clearly. She doesn't owe him anything. The air on the jet is cooler than outside, still and controlled. Marcus, the young flight attendant, greets her with a nervous but respectful smile. He opens the cabin door wider and says, Welcome aboard, Miss Langston. His voice is soft, careful. Sophia gives a short nod and smiles just enough to put him at ease. Thank you, Marcus. She settles into her seat near the window. The view of the tarmac stretches out in front of her. Engines hum gently, ready to rise. Inside, it's quiet. Just the sound of small movements, the kind that only happen in well-run spaces. She leans back, closing her eyes for a moment, not to rest, but to breathe. As the jet begins to taxi toward the runway, her thoughts drift. She's not thinking about the confrontation anymore. She's thinking about everything that came before it. Years of being the first or the only in a room. The meetings where her ideas were repeated louder by someone else and then praised. The networking events where no one approached her until they realized she was the keynote speaker. The assumptions, the sideways looks, the constant need to prove what should have been obvious. She opens her eyes again and sees Marcus walking toward her with a glass of water. He places it gently on the tray table beside her. Let me know if you need anything, he says. His voice carries something more this time, respect, maybe even admiration. Before he walks away, Sophia asks, How long have you been flying? 3 years, Marcus replies. Still learning, still getting used to the unexpected. Holds his gaze for a second. You handled today well. He swallows hard, then gives a small nod. Thank you. Sophia adds, It's not always your fight, but how you carry yourself still matters. People notice. Marcus gives a half smile. I noticed you. Sophia lifts the glass of water. Then you're already ahead of most. He walks back to the front of the cabin, and she watches him go. Just a small moment, but one that stays with her. Quiet dignity goes further than loud support. Her phone buzzes again. A call from Leonard. She answers. We're in the air, she says softly. Good, Leonard says. I was getting ready to call the CEO myself. Sophia lets out a short breath, half laugh, half sigh. They already responded. There's an investigation underway. Leonard's voice is low, steady. They'll regret underestimating you. They always do. She doesn't answer that. She doesn't have to. They hang up after a few words, and Sophia places the phone back on the armrest. Another email drops in, this one from Elite Aviation's CEO. The message is direct. They've reviewed the situation, spoken with key staff, and disciplinary steps are already being taken. She reads it once, then again. The words don't surprise her, but they satisfy her. Up front, Todd sits in silence, staring straight ahead. The control panel lights blink quietly around him. He doesn't speak. He doesn't move much. His hands are still on the controls, but his mind isn't in the air. It's stuck in the lounge, in the words she said, in the email he knows will follow him after landing. For the first time, he feels small in the very seat that once gave him power. Back in her chair, Sophia takes another sip of water and looks out the window. The clouds roll past slowly. The sky stretches wide. And finally, she lets her shoulders drop. Not in defeat, but in calm. She's exactly where she's supposed to be. The plane begins its descent into Geneva. Out the window, the snow covered. Mountains rise like quiet giants, standing strong against the sky. They look calm, but powerful, steady, like something that's seen too much to be shaken by one storm. Sophia watches them closely, her eyes tracing the edges of the peaks. It feels fitting somehow that this is where she's landing, after everything. Cold air, solid ground, clear skies. The jet touches down with a soft bump. No drama, no noise, just smooth contact. Sophia doesn't move right away. She stays seated, steady and still, while the engines hum and the crew begins to prepare for disembarking. Marcus appears by her side again. "We've arrived, Miss Langston. Car is waiting outside." His voice is relaxed now, respectful, but not nervous. She nods, standing with ease, her bag already in hand. As she walks to the front of the cabin, Todd is there near the cockpit door. He doesn't speak. He doesn't make eye contact. His face is pale, his mouth set in a tight line. He knows. Sophia gives him one last glance. Not angry, not smug, just clear. "I trust this flight has been educational," she says. Her voice is calm, almost kind, but her words land like stone. Todd gives the smallest nod, then looks away. Outside, a sleek black car waits on the tarmac. The wind is cold, but clean. Sophia slides into the back seat, and within minutes she's being driven through the city, past old buildings, quiet streets, and storefronts with gold lettering in the windows. It's a different world than the lounge she left behind. But she's carried the same strength with her. She always does. At the conference center, Leonard is already waiting. He greets her with a short hug, smiling wide. "You made it," he says. "Barely," she replies with a quiet smile. But yes, inside the room, the meeting moves quickly. Her presentation is sharp. The partners are engaged. The deal closes with firm handshakes and nods of real respect. Not because she demanded it, but because she earned it. By the end, it's clear. This was more than a good pitch. It was a turning point for her company, a door that's now open for everything that comes next. Later that night, back in her hotel room, a new email lights up her screen. This one is short and final. From Elite Aviation's CEO, Todd Benson has been terminated. The company has also announced mandatory sensitivity and diversity training across all departments. It's not just about punishment. It's about prevention, about change. Sophia sits still for a moment after reading it. Not joyful, not gloating, just thoughtful. It didn't have to be a battle. But it was. And now it's not just over. It meant something. Across the ocean, back at the terminal, Claire finishes wiping down the last table of the evening. Her hands move slower tonight, not from being tired, but because her mind is full. She keeps replaying the words Sophia said to her, the way she carried herself, the way she didn't shrink. Claire has always liked planes. She never really believed she could be the one flying them. Until now. Tomorrow, she'll start looking up flight schools, something she never thought she'd actually do. But now, maybe, in her hotel, Sophia pulls the curtains back. Geneva is quiet outside, the lights of the city glowing softly beneath the stars. She thinks back on the past day. Not the anger, not the doubt, but the moments that built something deeper. The moment Claire stood a little taller, the way Marcus grew more sure of himself, the way her own voice didn't waver when it mattered most. This wasn't just about a seat on a plane. It was about all the spaces she had to walk into and make room where there wasn't any. She speaks softly to herself, almost under her breath. Justice may be late, but it always lands. Then she lets the curtain fall back into place. And this time, when she turns away from the window, she feels weightless.